Because that boy, when he goes out there and he portrays a wrong image, he portrays poor performance in the college, is not able to produce because maybe you stole the exam, then they talk about friend school come singer. What will happen? So the teachers know that this must be done. And by the way, that thing has helped me today. Even if I went to school which has a mean of 2, I will teach all my lessons and teach well. And I struggle to make an impact. Just that, because you understand the value of somebody's child. And you understand why you're being paid. And you understand what the community means. You understand how to serve the child, to serve the community. Students understand their line of operation because of common sense. So if it's assignment, they will do it. If it's being in class, they'll be able to do it. I think those ones who have been in friend school come single will agree with me that if you get at the tuition block, when the students are in the class, you might never know the school is on. Those who have been there, you might not know the school is on. Why? Because you must use common sense. Because noise and academics don't go together.
Noise and academics?
They don't go together.
Noise and academics?
They don't go together.
Say it louder. Noise and academics don't go together. They will never go together. And let me tell you, that is one thing you have observed. But there is another thing I have observed, like when I go to French school Kapsinga, is this issue of time management. Now, how come you guys are like any other school? How come that if French school Kapsinga tells you, you will be speaking at 7:15 a.m., actually 7:15 a.m. students are what? Ready. And it doesn't happen in other schools. How do you make it happen?
Now, when I came, Reverend was talking about time management. And time management is the main aspect of life. Time management is the main aspect of life. Allow me just start from slightly behind Reverend.
Yes.
Naturally, our boys open on the boys open on Wednesday. Naturally, for quite some time. By this time now, I am told they are opening on Tuesday. This is what happens. That every minute that student is in school and the teacher is used. Every minute is used. The timetable is never guesswork. As I'm speaking, I'm sure the timetable is ready for next time. It's not like where the schools will open, then teachers are being assigned lessons, students are carrying desks. No. So when you open, day 1, students will arrive, and when they arrive, Reverend, they go direct to class. Study starts at that time. You carry your box, you enter the school, direct to class with your box, with your bag. And learning starts at that time immediately. In the evening, from 7, there will be an exam, first exam.
So the day they arrive,
there is an exam.
There is an exam in the evening.
Yes. The following day.
And when they arrive, they don't put their bags and go to the field and discuss. You mean you don't have any students in that school that like football? They don't have any time to discuss Man U and...
They are there. But also I was forgetting, and I think what propels, I'm sure these girls and boys from other schools, when you left school, might have been told, Mukikuja, you start with mathematics. That's the first paper. Second paper is chemistry, physics, and things of that kind. In Kamsinga, when the boys close, they go home without an examination timetable. And the reason is very simple. Because once you give them an exam timetable, they fix their study. Atasema, chemistry the first paper on Monday. So let me read chemistry. Because I know CRE will come the last. So these boys go home without a timetable. By the way, my son has passed there, and I want to tell you very sincerely, I never used to tell him. So, when the boys arrive on opening day, they find a timetable pinned on the wall. You can look at a situation whereby if you never prepared when you are at home, unafika if you find this physics being done, or biology. That trick is to ensure that the boys revise all the subjects, because you are not sure which exam will be first, which exam is going to be last. So you arrive, you find the timetable, is physics. you are doing physics that day.
So simply put, when you release your boys to go home, you are not telling them to go home and rest, but to use the time to just change the environment.
Correct.
From home, from school to home, and when they open, they are ready to sit their first what? Exam. And you don't know which subject. You only know the subject the day you do what? You arrive in school, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, these boys have been on Wednesday. They have done an examination in the evening. On Wednesday morning, there will be issuance of textbooks. So any teacher going to class, that first lesson, even for your first lesson, you are issuing textbooks. What does it mean? The next lesson the following day, learning starts. And learning will continue from Monday to Monday, irrespective of whether we have a holiday, because lessons go up to 4. Depending on the need, there will be what we call remedial lessons, which will be taken in the evening. On Saturdays, students will not resist being taught. They go to class as normal. Lessons go on up to 11:45. Yes, a.m. Form 3 and Form 4 will go back in the evening. From 2 for English and language hour for that matter. What Reverend is talking about on Sunday, there is no morning prep. Boys sleep up to 6. They don't wake up. They wake up, do community work, take tea, then go in for prep, go in for service, up to 11:45. Then maths awareness starts. After maths awareness will be another language program that we pick up. On a public holiday, lessons will go on up to lunch hour, half day, and lessons will be taught up to closing day during long break. So lessons go on up to long break. Up to long break, there are lessons. So you see, there is no way, therefore, you can't complete syllabus. And the boys are there. Boys are there and being taught, willing to be taught. So you'll find what? Like right now as I'm speaking, you'll find boys Form 1s might be through with the syllabus. Form 2s, they're almost there. The bulk comes in Form 3 because of the long work, and then the Form 4. By around February, the following year, the syllabus is over. So the issue of time management becomes key. Now, if you went to French school, come sing and stand next to assembly, you will notice what you call a moving pattern. The moving pattern. When the boys come from the tuition to the boarding area, you are required to walk. Why are you walking? Because lunch hour, supper time, people don't run for meals because they are gentlemen. So anytime away from the boarding area, the tuition area is walking. But anytime there's a break and are moving from the boarding now to tuition, you must run. So during lesson time, you find those boys move and run, and they are not told to run. You will not find a teacher there. If anything, you find the boys clapping. When you hear the clap, that means speed of movement is low. So increase the speed of movement. And that's what happens. So you find the boys at class. Obviously, some rules that must be there. Why are you among the last 10 to get to class? Why are you not the first one to get to class? So students are always struggling to redeem time so that I don't become among the last to enter the class. I should be among the first one to enter class. And along there about time management, there's something called academic indiscipline. That academic indiscipline gets even to the examination hall. If you have not completed your examination.
So you're saying poor time management
yeah.
results into academic
discipline.
Hey, I get your point. Poor time management results into academic what? Indiscipline. Because you won't do anything. And he has added that it will follow you up to the examination what?
Up to exam time.
Up to exam time.
So you find that time is always, if by the way, in life, if you don't redeem time, there will always be a debt. Utakuwa na deni. It will follow you a debt into. Supposing you miss lessons, if you miss, for example, 2 days or 3 days, when you go back, you'll find redeeming that time is a big issue. There will be a lot that has been covered. And because that much has been covered, and learning is almost, just attendance, by the way, is almost 99%. It's not as 100. So anytime you miss a lesson, you will find you miss a lot. You find you miss a lot. And you know what? Time management, the Reverend is talking about, gets even to the issue of punishment, because suppose you are put outside doing a punishment, it becomes a poor under time manager. So you find punishments are limited, not by the teachers, but by the students themselves. Utapata mwanafunzi ako nje anafanya punishment. If you are found not having used common sense, there is something called Panishi's punishment, Panishi's parade. In the Panishi's parade, you are picked at 4. After 4 o'clock assembly, anybody who was booked, maybe we didn't have a right pair of socks, your shirt was not tucked in, maybe you were able to push a boy on the line, you pushed ahead of the line when you were eating, plus anything else. You will find yourself being that what we call Panishi's parade. That's the time you go to the assignment. I think that. So you'll find there's a lot of time is, actually time is used 100%. When those boys are opening on Tuesday, go to Kamsinga on Wednesday, lessons will be on. And the students report almost 99% also. Those who come from Kimilili around there will discover that whenever a boyfriend school Kamsinga alights at the stage, if we are very careful, those who come from Kimilili town, they agree with me, they'll pick a motorbike and rush to school. That's what happens. What about wanatembea? There will be no movement in town, buying things.
One thing that you will never see, student, and I want you to try it, you will never find a student of French school Kamsinga in the kinyozi, even closing day, in the kinyozi, rolling in the chair, trying several hairstyles or anything. They don't. And then there is something that is very interesting. I know. I have wanted these young people to understand. I have talked about it in a number of schools. Have you ever seen the bus of French school Kamsinga pass by your road or your school or your market, and students are in? Have you ever seen the head of any of the students outside of the window of the bus shouting and talking to people? Never. But some of our schools, when the bus leaves Kimilili, you start hearing them from here. Because people do not have any discipline. So literally one of the things that, and you know what we're discussing? We have just picked on this school called French School Kamsinga. He's a debut of another school. But it's me who is provoked him to really zero into which school? French School Kamsinga. Because of the values that are in that place. You go there, you don't see this noise. You don't hear this noise, as he has put it. You don't see these students who drop. I went with these media guys of mine in a school I will not mention, in Busia County. And we were supposed to start speaking at 9. What time did we? What time did we? And I had to force my way to the hall. No, it was a few minutes to 1. A few minutes to 1, we were just, and I had to say, look here, you told me 9. This is 11 something. Oh, we will go. And in the meantime, students are in the hall, some students are in the hall, and they are playing some funny music and Now, something that is not related with what I was asked to do. Let me tell you, go to FSK. If they ask you, like, they normally ask you to go there, like this, last year's, the class I did Form 4, I'm the one who was doing academic coaching. They were my class. That class, they tell me, Pastor, you are supposed to be in school on Tuesday by 7:15. You are speaking 7:15 a.m. 7:15 a.m. I'm actually on the stage. Many schools that doesn't happen. And you know, we are talking about like this with this because some of these students are student leaders. And you know, each one of you would like to see your school pick up a culture that attracts what? Success. A culture that attracts what? Success. I want you to learn from what he's saying. And if possible, when you go to school, influence your friends. Influence your friends by using common sense. Don't be reminded to tuck in your shirt. Don't be reminded to comb your hair. Don't be reminded to don't be reminded to polish your. Use what? Common sense. Meaning, don't waste people's time to come and tell you something that a teenager like yourself should be doing. Why would you wait until your mother comes to tell you, my son, put down your phone and do what? Read. Switch off that phone, television and revise. Why would you not use your common sense? We are almost moving to the end. Malim, I would like that you, we have 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go. So Malim, what are these things that what are these thoughts? I know, God willing, if you had an opportunity tomorrow, you would have come to really share more with us, and or we can still organize another meeting for another time. I now want to give you 5 minutes uninterrupted. And then another 5 minutes I'll interject. I just want you to share what, if you were given, because these children want to succeed in their academics. They want to become successful career men and career women. And when we talk about successful, we're not trying to tell them that each one of them must be A. Yeah. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that each one of you must become the best you are created to be, and to use your potential to the apex, to the maximum. If you are asked, because deep in the hearts of these young people, they're saying, hey, you teacher who has taught French school, come sing, was teaching the great Nyangori boys, what must I do? And even mention something about your chemistry, because someone around here, I'm not going to show you the exact one, but that friend of yours, he fears this animal called the mole concept. What are you going to do?
Now, I had prepared something to talk, but because free discussion just allowed me to mention a few things. I've had the privilege to teach in what I can call extra count schools. And I've had a time to teach in French school, Kamsinga. And I just want to list a few things that you need to do. One is that each one of us has a vision. You have a vision. When you went Form 1, when you got your KCP results, the primary kids were going to get their KCP results, there is something you want to become. That's what you call the vision. Never drop your vision. Always pick your vision and run with it. Pick your vision and run with it. At no any one time must you accept defeat. Reverends talk about from the abundance of our heart, what we confess in life is what we get. What you want to become. Don't change. There's this slogan where people say, this young girl wants to become a doctor. Then she gets Form 2, things are becoming tough. She says, okay, I can become a nurse. Then with the time, things become tougher. Then she says, I can become a sweeper in the hospital, still within the same facility. Then things become tougher. She says, I'll do anything. But one of the things, she will end up, she'll be in hospital, at least admitted as a patient. You're still in hospital. But if that escapes her life, somehow she may end up in a mortuary. You know, that's what we're talking about. So you lower your vision so much, the minimum. Never put your vision below standard. As a student, please remember this. Time management is a key. Time management is everything. Reverend ambushed me with the interview friends school comes in. I wasn't ready. I was coming to do that. But I've told you time management is a thing. In the schools I've gone, in the schools I've been able to interact, time management is a thing. When you manage your time well, please report on reporting day. Make sure that you are attending all the lessons. Make sure you avoid punishment. Time management. Number three, please always make sure you have the notes. Keep up-to-date notes. Reverends talk about my chemistry, which is a science subject. A science subject without diagrams, without flowcharts, are not notes. Some of us might not have the privilege of having parents who can go to check our notes. You become the custodian of yourself. Please make sure you keep up-to-date notes. You will discover that when you be doing the examination, quite a number of those questions will come from 1 form to work, but those are the notes you have lost. Please make sure you have up-to-date notes. Point number 4, always make sure that you are present. Be present when you are in school. Be present when you are in the hostel. The biggest distractor among most students is that their bodies are in school, their minds are away. They are not in school. Please, the day you enter in a school compound, up the day you are leaving that school compound, be present. When you are present, you are going to make sure you have the notes. You are going to answer the examinations well. You are going not to make mistakes. Because if I know that if I don't clean my area of working, I'll be punished. I'll be present and clean my area of working. Please be present. Be in school at the time being in school. I think everybody was talking about a small boy and a small girl who has found a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And you are really carrying a baggage of a young child like you. Surely where will you be able to meet? Even if they told you go and stay in the same house now, the two of you, Form 1 and Form 2, what will you do? Utafanya nini? Now, by accident you get a child. Where you take that child? Today I was reading a paper, Reverend, and there was something about somebody had posted it. 6,500 girls in Bungoma County became pregnant during COVID. 6,500. And I want to tell you, before COVID, it was not that much. What has happened is because these boys and these girls have taken their priorities upside down. They decided to become men and women. They are not in school. You have picked a phone number, for example, of somebody, even today, tomorrow, yesterday. You go to school, you're always looking for ways and means of calling, writing a message, writing a letter to that boy, that girl. It means you are not present in school. Point number 5, please create what we call a study timetable. You cannot be able to read unless you have a study timetable. When you get friends school come sing again, you'll find on top of every student at the corner of the desk is what we call a study timetable. So when the teachers are moving around, they want to see, are you exactly reading what was supposed to be read? You know, why must you have a study timetable? Is because if, for example, gender, by the way, in my high school life, I loved the 3 subjects. I loved biology, which which I don't teach right now. I love geography. Then I love the agriculture. I don't know why. So you see, what will happen is I'll have a shift towards studying those three subjects. I might not be able to study history. I might not be able to study English. I might not be able to study CRE. But when I have a study timetable, it will tie me to studying that subject at that time. That's what happens. Ikifika hapo lazima nitasoma hiyo, because the timetable talks about that. And if anything, if I know that I'm doing so well in chemistry, for example, I'm not doing well in physics, and then my timetable allows that each of my subjects will have 6 lessons. If I want to pass physics, what I'll do is that I'll snatch chemistry 1 lesson and add to physics, so that I'm giving an advantage to physics. You know what will happen? I will still not fail chemistry, but I would have allocated more time to these subjects is giving me trouble. And because I'll have more contact with that subject, obviously I'll have to do it better. There's something called consistency. Consistency will always produce results whenever you're consistent. But when you break, that consistency is not there, you end up not doing well. So please make sure you go back to school. Make sure you have a study timetable that's going to guide you, whether you're in class 7, whether you're in class 8. Please make sure you have a study timetable that's going to guide you. But above everything else, kindly ensure that you maintain discipline. Make sure you maintain discipline. Most of these schools you do well. I want to even talk about the girls, because it's a national school in Kakamega County, is it not true? I talk about Mangu. They are not different from you people. They are just the same. These are just boys who learned with the same primary school. The only difference came about was, when they went to that school, they found what you call a structure. And it was a structure of discipline that enhanced study. But you know what happens? In my local school where I come from, if I picked a quarrel with a student in my class because he or she has not done an assignment and punished that student, even by just giving extra work, I'm likely to get repercussions from the parents. And you know what? Because the parents has gotten in, the student will not start imagining the teacher is in the wrong, and therefore there will be no study. So make sure you maintain discipline. I want to tell you this very simple story. A thief. When a thief plans go to steal, is what we call a work plan. And that work plan, one of the things they usually say, please, when you are getting to that area, nobody must make noise. We are going to take this route. You'll be the first one to get in, and when you get in, do like this. Then I'll get in next. And after you have picked what you have picked, we'll move this direction, keep it at a certain place. That's what you call discipline. And when they get in that house, they will exactly do the way they planned. So if thieves can be able to have what you call discipline and time management, what about a student? What about a normal person? So behind every success, ladies and gentlemen, there is something called discipline. And finally, as I finish, I started by talking about Reverend, where he has come from. I can talk about myself, where I've come from. We never came from those rich families. We never, by the way, fees payment was trouble. Getting a pair of shoes we are putting on the day we are going for one. There's a story of a friend of mine who was told to buy a new pair of shoes. Because they used to say, come with a new pair of shoes. This gentleman bought a new pair of shoes, butter, put in a box, and carried it to school. Because he was supposed to get a new pair of shoes. He went on foot. Kufika shuleni ako on pair of barefoot. Wakati waliambia viatu akatoa kwa box, akavaa. But you know what? because you understand where you came from. When you get to class, unasema, I want to change a generation. I want to change the perspective of my family. Where do you come from? When I was coming in, I saw about 3 vehicles outside here. One of them was for Reverend. There was a school bus because they had a yellow color, and there was another one. None of you came driving. That must be a propelling force. That should be a driving force. That where I come from, my generation, my father, my mother, my brother, Reverend Masambu, who is sitting with you here today, is looking back at you and saying, if you succeed, you will touch us alive. You are going to touch our soul. Baba yake anaangalia anasema, if this boy of mine passes exam, if this daughter of mine passes exam, I'll get a shamba. At least I'll have the first vehicle in my family. I'll have somebody who is working, a teacher, a doctor. Reverend is saying, as I struggle here, I'm looking for a servant. Somebody whom one day will come back and say, this gentleman 50 years from now will not be living. And what must be now in his mind is, after I've died, who will carry my vision? Who will carry my vision? And you know what? This gentleman is looking at one of you here. When he now discovers he's not having the energy, that's why you see this new gentleman. Work with him. He'll pick on you. And those years when he's not there, when we look back, me, I've known this place now, I thank God. I'm going to talk about it with my children. When they come here, they say, there are children he was mentoring. And those are the children. What do you want to give back to the society? What do you want to do with your family? What do you want to do with your son? Some of them are sponsored. You are sponsored. And you are using donors' money not well. You are killing what we call a chain. In chemistry, talk about a chain of reaction. Radioactivity, we are going to call a chain of reaction. Radioactive isotopes. A radioactive isotope always disintegrates to produce smaller particles. And it continues changing and changing. Then also science says matter is never destroyed. Matter is changed from one form to another. You cannot destroy matter. So if you are not using that sponsorship well, you are not doing the chain of reaction. You are going to destroy matter. That one is going to stop at you, my sister and brother. How do you feel? Get back at home and then say, among all the people, children who are born in this world, I was the most lucky. Bother not about the school where you are. Because even in that school might not have said, let's say, I'll make an impact. And I thank God what Reverend has said. Passing is not necessarily an A. Passing is getting a grade which you know is going to propel you to the next step of your life. Please, as you sit here today, as you go home this evening, in the book of Haggai chapter 1 verse 7, the Bible says, consider your ways. Consider your ways. That boy who is disturbing at home, that girl who is disturbing at home, this phone I came when Reverend was talking about, that rudeness you have, that laziness you have, that indiscipline you have, consider your ways. May God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Malim, for sharing these insights with us. And Malim, this is what I just been thinking. We break away from the traditional. The traditional has always been a lecture session where we stand and lecture people. But let me tell you, this heart-to-heart talk that you have given to these sons and daughters has such a strong impact, because you've, in a very short period of time, given them very powerful keys that will assure that they succeed in life. We have told you to succeed in life. Of course, number one is to really walk and commune with God. That is number one step to success. Because if you are not communing with Him, if God is not your number one priority, Jesus said, what will it benefit you if you gained the whole world and then lost your soul in everlasting hell? What will it gain you? Friends, I want you to know this.